grandson Joey celebrate his birthday, and about to meet some people today. It's going to be real interesting because we did some deals with these people, and I was doing a deal with my friend George that we are about to meet. And George, I said, hey George, we bought a house from George, and we sold the house. We did real good, made about $26,000 in a week from the sale of this house that George sold us. And because we already had a person lined up who wanted to buy it, because part of what we do is that we buy and sell properties. But in this wealth game, what people don't understand is that they just get a sale and they just get excited, and they just act like they arrived, And we all know that the pennies are in the presentation, but the fortunes in the follow-up. So that's what we're doing today. We're on the road again, and Queen and I with Joey for his birthday. Our 10th, we got 10 grandkids. Joey is the oldest, second oldest son. The grandkids, yes, Joey is. So we made 10 today, and so he's gonna get some birthday presents from us. We're gonna hang out with him, have a good time. You get to meet the little man. He's complete joy to be around. He's our posterity, because we know that this life is not about us only. This life is about us and the kids. So that's why we're up here working out early and getting ready to go follow up with this deal. Now, if you say, what's so important about following up, Coach Rick? What's so important about following up? It's the follow-up is really just the start. See, people think the start is when you make a sale, but that's not the start. That's the pre-start. The start to business is when you follow up on the sale that you made. Because what makes business so delightful is that you never have to look for customers, because all your customers bring you customers. And most people don't understand it. They're looking for a customer. I say you should never be looking for a customer. Your customers are so easy to find because your customers bring all your customers. Problem is when you make one sale, you don't turn the customer into a client. But we turn all our customers into clients. Why? Because we pay attention to our customers. We're always trying to figure out how to make the customer life better, because that's what God told us to do. He said charity starts at home and then it spreads abroad. So we make sure that the customer is treated good after we start a relationship with them. We treat them better after we meet them than we did before we knew them. Why? Because that's what God told us to do. You know how it is. People get married and then they start acting like they did the person a favor that they married. And I'm like, no. The marriage, the vows and stuff, that was the pre-marriage. Okay? The real marriage is every day after the wedding. The wedding is the pre-marriage. It's not the marriage. It's the pre-marriage. All right? The marriage is what happens after the wedding. So when you get a customer, that's the pre-marriage. What happens with the customer after when you make a sale to a customer, that's the pre-marriage. And after you make them a sale, now it's the marriage. Now you can show the customer how much you love them. Show the customer how much you care about them. So one way of showing your customers how much you care about them is to say, hey, do you know anybody else in the same situation you're in that I can help? So my friend George, he said, yeah, some houses right down the street. Got swimming pools and everything. They've been abandoned for years. I said, okay, George, I'm gonna find out who owns it. If they want to sell it, I'm gonna buy it. If they decide to buy it, I'm gonna come back and give you some money for telling me about the person. I don't get it. I don't know why people think why people run around sweating, looking for customers. The only sweating we ought to be doing is when you come in these workout rooms like this one here. They must be 110 degrees up in this piece. But I appreciate it because I came here to sweat. But I don't sweat when I'm dealing with customers and clients. Why? Because I serve people, and all of us should. It should just be the way we live. It shouldn't be to try to make no money. Because making money, really, it's just, your bank account really just looks like your heart. If you got a big heart, you got a big bank account. If you got a little heart, you got a little bank account. Why? Because your heart and your bank account, they're synonymous. You say, not mine, Ricky. I got a big heart, and I got a little bank account. Well, I would say to re-examine that and to see how do you treat your clients. Do you treat your clients so good until they want to tell you about everybody they know? That's the question. It's just like with our business, with our wealth management business. When people bring us customers who are in our legacy program, we pay them $13,000 every person they bring. You say that's an outrageous amount of money to pay somebody. Not to us. Not to us. That's not how we think. We don't think like the crowd. That's why we got more money than the crowd. We got a different attitude. And I want to encourage everybody to have a plenteous attitude, have a large attitude. You know, and when your clients bring you clients, pay them. Don't ever tell nobody, you know, thank you, bro. God bless you. I don't like that. That's that religious spirit. That's that you know, that's that churchy, Pharisee type stuff. I don't like that stuff. Put your money where your mouth is. When you meet people, treat them good. Okay? So we'll be checking in with you guys in a second. Looking forward to a beautiful day today. And whatever y'all do, remember that your health is your wealth. So when you get up in the morning, make it a priority. Sweat. Sweat is very important for us. 61 years old, and I don't want to have one foot in the grave. I want to be able to celebrate a whole bunch of these birthdays with joy. Can't wait to see my little man. He's a breath of fresh air. My daughter Shantice, can't wait to see him. All about prosperity, y'all. We'll see you in a little bit.
You know what? I want you to take this and put it in your church.
Oh, you want to give it to? Well, we give it to the kids in Kenya. We got some kids in Kenya.
Put it there.
Good simple.
I mean, I never expected this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to share it with everybody.
And that's why you're looking so good now after serious back surgery, because you're a generous person, man.
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer in what comes around goes around. I don't see color.
You don't.
Okay. I bought another house and rehabbed it for my daughter right over here off of Harris, off of Van Buren, the next road over. And I sold it to a family that their daughter played basketball with my daughter.
Yeah.
And they were real nice people. They both worked jobs, and we talked about their job and all this other stuff. And he had said somebody was renting. I looked at him, I said, man, you're in your 40s. I said, if you don't mind me asking, why are you renting? And he says, well, we had a situation, we made a poor choice. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, insurance on the house came up, money was tight, and he said, so we decided we should push it off for a couple weeks. He said, 2 weeks later, burned to the ground. We didn't have a stitch of insurance, didn't have a rider, nothing to cover up. He says we ended up getting sued from the bank. He says just trashed our credit, and I felt so bad for him because we all do it. I mean, we push bills off, you know. And I just thought, man, if that happened to me, I don't know what I'd do. And him and I got to talking, and then I found out that God was in his life also, in his family's life. And the thing that I love so remarkable, the whole time they were struggling to make it, their kids was on the basketball team. I had no idea that they were struggling at all. Wow. I mean, they've done such a great job as far as not bringing that to the school, not bringing that in their child's life, not telling their children they couldn't have things because they couldn't afford them, because of whatever. My daughter moved in with her boyfriend, and she's not at the house all that much, and I told her, I said, you know what? I got a question for you. So what are we going to do with the house? She was afraid I was going to get mad. I was like, let's just sell it. I said, we got a place, if you're solid, you feel good about it, let's just go ahead and sell it. We didn't have a ton in it, but so she's like, you know what? That's fine with me, Dad. She says, it's good. I said, okay, it's done what we needed it to do, so we'll go ahead and sell it. So I called him up and I asked him, I said, he goes, oh man, I can't get it home. I said, I got no credit. I said, you don't need credit for this. He says, what do you mean? I said, because I'm the bank.
Wow.
And I just approved this.
Let's go.
And I got over there to the house, my daughter, she didn't want to bother me. There was things that needed to be fixed. And I told him I said, I want you to do a walkthrough, tell me what you think. And if you like it, call me up, let me know you want it. So they walked through. I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. And I called him up, I said, are you still interested? He says, I just don't know how we're gonna do it. I said, well, what's your rent? He says, my rent's $600 a month. I said, that's your new house payment. And he says, huh? And I said, you've probably seen them because I seen them when I was walking through the house. There's things that needed to be done. I didn't care for the condition of the stairs going down in the basement. I'm not going to put somebody in the house with kids to go down, fall, or that stair cave in on them or anything. So I told him, I said, we've got some work that needs to be done. Upstairs, we're going to do some work there. I said, if you want to come and help, you could be a part of it. And I said, I'm going to loan you $5,000, and we're just going to put it on loan. And then he's asked me, he's like, well, what's the interest going to be? And I said, well, this is the part I think you're going to really like. What's that? I said, 0.
Wow.
You have 50 payments. And if you decide at any point you don't want this house, you call me up and you walk away like you were renting. But if you want the house, you make the 50 payments, it's yours.
Wow. But 0 interest.
0 interest.
Come on, 0 interest.
I'm not a businessman. I'm not, that was, I had a lot of reasons for doing that. When I wanted to do this thing for my kids and get the houses and help them get started, I had no idea how to do it. But somehow God showed me, bumped me into people and things, and He made it happen. So it was something that I truly wanted to do for my kids. Well, you can't, in my position, you can't accept, God did that 5 times for me.
Wow.
And I can't put one back, not one.
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hear you. Loud and clear.
Hey, it's great knowing you. I'm glad that our paths crossed because
It's an absolute pleasure.
it is truly impressive when your paths cross with somebody and somebody that also knows God, and just sort of have to keep my eyes out every once in a while. If you're around, give me a call. We'll say hi again so we can catch up and see where you're at that point.
We have some lunch, and we have to come back from time to time. We go to church in Monster with my daughter, and they have plays in Monster. We'll invite you to Joey's next play.
That'd be awesome.
He's an actor. You'll enjoy that. So I'm gonna call you and let you know next time. And since you help the kids in Kenya, you can't pay for the tickets. We have them ready for you.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Joey.
Thanks a lot.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Now, you know what? The cool thing about this is most of the world got a barber, but they ain't got no singing barber. Check it out.
I thirst but never quench. I know the consequence. Feeling as I do, we're in a spinning top. Where, tell me, will it stop? And what am I to say? We open our music book that only few can love, and I'll write a song for you, for you. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-ba, you, my magic honesty, finding it all complete in your lovely face. Feelings we try to chase, memories that won't erase, stay forever new. We open been a magic book.
Music book. Yeah.
Music book that only few can love. And I'll write a song for you. You write a song for me. We'll write a song of love, love, love.
Go and get it, Rick. My tank, my storage is empty.
So man, this has been a phenomenal trip because all that love we just meeting that man, and you know, just coming down here just to do right and just to follow up with him. We told him we'd give him a finder's fee if he found us someplace, and that's what we did. Yeah. And we just kept our word. He's so nice, he wouldn't even take the whole finder's fee. He gave us back part of it and said, donate that to your church. I said, that's going to the kids in Kenya.
I know that's right.
So he blessed the kids in Kenya all the way from Maryville.
Well, that's why he's blessed.
Hey to the man. Hey to the man. Hey to the man.
You can't outgive God given.
No, you can't.
Well, that's why you blessed, brother. So, let me tell you all a personal testimony about this brother. I've been knowing we started singing in a group together 30 plus years ago, and I eventually rededicated my life to the Lord, and as a result, I left the group. We were on our trajectory to be very successful in the R&B realm, because Rick has a phenomenal voice, and just quite frankly, I believe, and other people believed, I was a phenomenal songwriter and producer. So we were very unusual as a group. But our friendship, even after I left the group, our friendship continued over the years. No, let me phrase that. Our brotherhood, Rick, I don't consider Rick a friend. I consider him a brother. But I was saying this. About 4 months ago, my dad passed away, 86 years old. But during that time, he had an affinity for Rick as well did my mom. Rick sang while we were in the group singing. He sang at my uncle's funeral. And as much as I knew he was a great singer, I didn't know his anointing as a psalmist. I said that to say, my mom said, I really want Rick to sing at your dad's service because Rick is anointed. So Rick told me he was going to be out of town in Orlando. He said, Ray, I might not be able to make it. So that Thursday, Rick called me and said, hey man, I'm coming to town. I'm going to sing at your dad's service. Now, to give you all an example of who this man of God and this brother is. He sang at my dad's service, killed it, by the grace and the power of God and the Holy Spirit. My brother gave him some money. He found my mom and gave it back. And he told me, he said, man, as good as your parents have been to me and what I got from them as a young man in life, he said, I couldn't charge your mom, to sing at your dad's service. So at the end of the service, Rick told me, he said, I told him, I said, bro, and it made me emotional because nobody had ever went above and beyond like that for me before. And he said, I said, I love you, bro. And he hugged me and he kissed me on my cheek. He said, I love you more. And in my heart, I said, I think you might be right. So this is my brother. And he's a man of integrity and great unselfishness. So I promise you, whatever you do, if you link up with him, you're going to be blessed. So.
Love you back, brother. You can't have nobody crying on the film. So.
Hey, bro.
All right, man. I'm macho.
All right.
I'm macho.
I got this.
It's good, man. Baby, what did you think about George? What was your impression? Was that one of the nicest people you ever met in your life, or what?
Yeah, he's a very kind soul, tall guy. It's like a walking, talking miracle. It's like, you did what? What happened to you? What happened? Like, wow, I just saw this pure angel. You know, I was thinking to myself, one, like, has anybody ever been that kind in my life? You know, you got your parents and your family, but like anybody outside of me, ever just been that generous to me. You know, I've been to like Starbucks and, you know, somebody like, go pay for my drink and they're like, we got you behind you. And then one time I was eating dinner and it's like, somebody that paid for your food, like instances like that. But like giving somebody a whole house and things like that. And then it made me think like, when have I gone out of my way to be generous to somebody else? And I was like, I cannot say that I have like given myself that much where like I'm paying on a loan or paying on whatever and they're just barely making payments, helping me pay myself, like there's just like no increase for me. And I was like, definitely got to get on it, but I kept thinking like he's just an angel. He's a pure angel, and he's like our hands and our feet, because he said this was also a man of God. And it was like, and people don't understand, like we are the only Jesus a lot of people are going to see, you know. So it's like this man was probably praying and praying and praying, you know, for this experience. Like, God, I'm down and out. Like we missed this payment because we were low on funds and we lost everything because of that mistake. And how you gonna bail us out? And then it's like you always look for a miracle in like the sky parting or something, you know, happening like so miraculous, and you don't even see that it's just a common act of people that is the miracle in itself.
There it is.
You know, and it's like,
There it
you know,
is.
we often overlook that, and we are somebody's miracle. And Coach, I see that with you all the time. You know, it's like, I cannot believe he gave that person. So that's like we ate last night, right? And he was just so tickled pink by this little waitress. Our bill, I mean, I think he gave her more in a tip than our bill was. And that happens so often. And it's just like, it's truly just being a miracle for someone else. Because we are the only Christ some people are going to see in this life. So it remind me, I got to step my game up. That's for sure.
Man, listen.
And that's what when the Bible says we're the head and not the tail, the lender, not the borrower, above and not beneath, it's not talking about you just got some automatic type of, you know, you just got something coming to you. That's not what the Bible teaches. What it teaches is that you're so proactive and you got such a proactive way of doing things, and that you do things in advance so much until that's what makes you the head and not the tail, the lender, not the borrower, above and not beneath. Not some type of privilege just because of your lineage and all of that. That's what people think, but they're not reading the scriptures, because if they read it, then they realize that in Deuteronomy, it's talking about, there's way more curses in that scripture than it is blessings. If you start out with blessings, if you all read my new book coming out called Unmovable, Unshakable, and Unstoppable Bible Principles that guarantee you financial success, in the last chapter, where I'm really breaking down Deuteronomy 28, because people see that and they start talking about, man, I'm blessed in the city, I'm blessed in the field, I'm blessed when I wake up, I'm blessed when I go to bed at night. When my enemies come in at me one way, they got to flee 7 ways. But then they forget that cuts off around the 18th verse. Then about another 40 verses is about the curses. And ain't nobody talking about the curses and stuff. And I'm like, well, let's look at our lives. Are you really blessed in the city and really blessed in the field? Do you really have amazing favor everywhere you go? Are you really the lender or are you the borrower? Are you really the head or are you the tail? Most of the time, that's just some stuff people read. But I'm like, that ain't really the average person's real life. Why? Because the average person ain't generous like George was, like what we just got through saying. So the average person they curse with a curse. The curse is stinginess, and the curse is selfishness, and the curse of slowness. Because when you're stingy and selfish, you're slow too. You can't come up with no ideas, so you don't know how to maneuver your way out of your situation. And people find themselves in the same situation, stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck, because they can't put cheese on a Whopper, can't put cheese on a junior Whopper, let alone a real Whopper. So that's why I love my friend Ray. He's a generous-hearted man. That's why I love you, baby. You're a generous-hearted person.
I was watching Change Church Sunday, streaming a little bit, And Tasha Cobbs, because it's like women's month, to have a bunch of women ministers for the month of July. And Tasha Cobbs said something that really, really stuck with me. And she's talking about faith. And she says that a lot of times we're not even struggling to believe God. But as you were just saying, we're struggling to believe that we are who we are in God, and having to believe that you really are, a lender. It's not that we doubt that God can do it or will do it. It's doubt that we are even worthy of it. We doubt whether, that applies to me, and so sometimes that allows us to stay stuck in a rut, and we repeat the cliches, but in our heart, like, do I really believe, that I'm more than a conqueror? Do I really believe I'm healed? Do I really believe that this is something that Christ can freely give somebody like me? And it was just touching. I was like, I never thought about that way. It's not that I don't believe God. It's, do I believe that what God says about me or applies to me? Does he mean just what he said for me? And that is it's like that's a new way of looking at that.
You know what I think is a remedy for that?
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I believe we just need to become more selfish. So what I'm saying is that what people don't understand is that giving is a very selfish act. Because when you give, you get the best joy you can possibly get. It gives you the best feeling you could possibly get. You get the best fulfillment. You can't get this kind of fulfillment no other kind of way. It ain't nothing that can make you feel good is given to somebody. Nothing. No dope, no woman, no man, no sex, no drink, no alcohol, no rush from no cocaine. And most people have never had this feeling. They don't know what this feels like because they do it. They give a little bit. They don't give. I'm not talking about money all the time. Money too. But I'm saying the person who really gives, the competence, let me put it this way, the competence and the confidence that comes from giving is unparalleled, unmatched. And you have to, and the only way that you ever find it out is you just have to go ahead by faith and start doing it. And then what happens? You start seeing things happen you never saw happen before, and they never would have happened because they are the result of what? Of the selfishness of giving. But most people don't understand. They don't even understand that God wants you to be selfish. He expects you to be fulfilled.
I gotta run away while the blood is running warm in my veins. When these eyes wet. Step out.
Then what, baby girl?
You won't be able, no. Then you can't run no more.
So I gotta run. I gotta run. Rivers get wide, but I gotta run. Mountains get high, but I gotta run. Valleys get low, but I gotta run. I gotta run away while the blood is running warm in my veins. Shucks now.
All right, Joey, some boy. Let's get Joey up and go do something. Al Green over there. What you know about that, son? Al Green, baby. Al Green. Get the note, get the note. No, look, no. Oh, let's go. You know what I really love about today? First of all, it's an outstanding day. What I really love the most, though, is the fact that when you follow up on people, it really frees up your time. Because people do things with you, and it's two are better than one. You know, most people believe that, 1 + 1 rather is 2. But not according to Deuteronomy 32 and 30. Deuteronomy 32 and 30 says if one will put 1,000 a flight, then two will put 10,000 a flight. So I've learned in business that 1 + 1 = 10. Two people together, they end up with 5 times what they had before. 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 don't equal no 2. And that stuff is totally irrelevant. I know we need to count and people need to know, basic math. But when we got down here and talked to George, I said, hey George, can you just tell us what another house is? And George is such a nice man. You saw how nice he was. I mean, just such a beautiful person, man. Helping people with their homes, helping people, just being a bank for somebody on their own deal. I was like, this guy is just a beautiful person. But it's amazing how when you meet people, the relationship develops after the initial meeting. See, our relationship developed after we bought his house. But that's when the relationship began. And this is what I'm telling you all, that the fortune is in the follow-up. The pennies is in the presentation, but the fortune is in the follow-up. When I said, George, do you know about somebody else selling a house? Well, shucks, we ended up making $100,000 instead of $26,000. Now, you know how it is. Most people, they pocket their little $26,000 and run down the street. Mine, oh mine. Like Daffy Duck with, a little cartoon where he got the dime and he run down the street, mine, all mine. Well, that's when the relationship starts. And I really wish we can understand that. It's just like with you and your wife. It's just like with you and your husband. It's just like with you and your children. The relationship doesn't start until after something good happens. You don't just celebrate because something good happens. And then all of a sudden, because the next good thing is right behind that good thing. Keep that momentum going. The pennies on the presentation, but the fortune is in the follow-up. And the second thing that I really enjoyed about today, and why it was such a spectacular day, is because following up frees your time up. You say, if following up, no, it doesn't, Rick. Following up, take up my time. No, it does not. Why? Because the relationship is so good with who you follow up with, they're the ones who help you get the next customer. Now you ain't got to spend all night and day looking for no customers. Now you can spend time kicking it with your grandkids. Just like, look, you see how I was beating up on Joy? I wouldn't have no mercy on Joy on the with the golf. But you see, I had time to talk to him about stocks. I had time to talk to him about bonds. I had time to talk to him about life. Why? Because we got time. Now, of course, we're going to play, we're going to have fun and stuff, because he's Joy Samoy. He's my grandboy. We got to have fun. You know what I'm saying? However, we got to talk business, Joey. All right? Joey understands that. Why? Because I have time. You have to have time to talk to your kids, and what a privilege it is to be able to do that. So I'm really glad this week for my friend George. George Stevens is an amazing man. And he really blessed us by showing us someplace else we can get a deal with. And you see how nice that man was? He wouldn't even take the finder's fee. All right? He said, I was surprised she was doing it. It's a shame that when somebody's surprised that you actually keep your word and do what you said you was going to do. That's really bad. But he's so nice, and he blessed the kids in Kenya. Was today a beautiful day of what? I got to kick it with George, reminisce, listen to his amazing stories, all right? Then get the time to spend time with my beautiful, wonderful grandson, Joey Samoy, and beat the crap out of him, because I'm ultra competitive and I don't let the little kids win nothing. Beat the crap out of him on the golf, but we had fun to go, just fun for his 10th birthday. Why? Because we got the time to do it. So I just want to encourage all of you. The pennies is in the presentation, but the fortune is in the follow-up. Make sure you follow up and spend quality time with your family too.
We are finally back at home. There's no place like home. But I tell you, we've had an action-packed last 3 days. I'm hanging out with Maribel. I think it is very, very important that our young people get to see our professional lives, where we're able to mix in fun and family with professionalism. And so I'm very excited to hang out with Joey for his birthday. Took him shopping. He's such a humble kid. And then really just giving the chance for you guys to go hang out together. So that was really fun for me. And then get to talk to my daughter, help her through some some trying times as the boys out there hanging out. And so that was fun for me. But I will say that the highlight over the last 3 days is definitely getting to meet George. I've heard so many things about him. I wasn't involved in that real estate transaction, but I mean, he just had some really, really good nuggets. And one of them, which is something that Coach always preaches, is just the power in giving. You know, I just can't imagine like going through, we did a couple fix and flips. So just imagining myself going through all the trouble and trials of fixing up a house and then just really basically giving it away. Like, to me, that's the real heart of humanity. That's the heart that Christ loves. Just a reminder to all of us, just continue to love people.